So let's go ahead and open up Blender 4.0. And first thing we want to do is press N on our keyboard. And I'm just going to change the scale of this cube. So we want it to be the size of a physical book, and this will benefit us because if we reference the real world for scale, we'll have kind of a consistent result, right? We're not going to make a book and then we add a tractor and the tractor's 12 times, or the book's 12 times bigger than the tractor or spaceship or whatever we add. So I think referencing the real world is important for scale, and this will be great for then bringing it over into a game engine or something. A typical book should be about 0.15 by 0.23 by 0.038. So that should give us the size of a 9 by 6 inch book. That's, maybe 300 pages or so. I don't know, roughly. And if we zoom in, looks kind of book shape, which is great. So now we can go press in, hide that. One thing we want to do is go into tab, so edit mode. I'm going to press 3 to go to face selection, and I'm just going to select the bottom. I'm going to select this side over here, and we're going to select the side here. And these faces we're going to delete, and we're going to keep this because this will be the spine. And so I'm just going to go X, and we're going to delete faces, and looking pretty good. So go tab back into object mode, and we want to add a solidify modifier. So go to our modifiers, tap on that, type in solidify, and we want to, go 1, which is going to be really thick. We'll go even. You can see it doesn't have any slanting anymore, but 1 is a bit much. So we'll go 0.1. And that looks better, but you can see the spine here is really thick. And so this is messing up because when we did our scale on our book, it messed with things. So I'm going to go Control A, and we can apply all kinds of things, but we want to apply a scale. So tap that, and it looks even worse. So let's go here, and we're going to go 0.01, and that looks better. Also, I want to adjust the offset from -1 to 1, and that is because in a moment we want to select the face here and use it as the pages and duplicate those. And if we have it at -1, it's going to be on the wrong side. So that's why we're adjusting the offset. With that all done, I think our next step is adding a bevel modifier because these are really sharp edges. Don't want to cut yourself when you're reading a book. So we'll add another modifier, and this will be the bevel. And we're going to change the segments to 3, and I think everything else looks good. Go ahead and right click, or however you have your mice or trackpads configured, and we're going to hit shade smooth, and that's looking pretty good. One thing I want to do now is go tab and press 1 so we can select our vertices here. And I'm just going to go select with box select, make sure I just have these vertices and not this edge over here. And then I'm going to press Shift Control B, and this allows us to bevel our vertices. And if we scroll up, we can add additional details. So that looks pretty good, I think. Now we want to do a similar thing to our edge over here, but if we did Shift Control B and tried to do that, it looks really bad. So I'm going to press Escape, and we want to press Control B, which is kind of the same, but we're just beveling the edges instead of vertices, I guess. And again, I'll use the scroll wheel to I could add more detail, or I could scroll and take a little less detail, but I say maybe there. Seems like it looks all right. So while in edit mode, I'm going to press 1 so we go to face, or press 3 so we can go to face select. I'll select this face here, and we're going to duplicate just that face with Shift E to duplicate it. And you can see now we have this this page we're going to use as a page basically. And I'll press Z to, when I grab it, I can move it along the Z axis. Put it right there, and that looks pretty good. Now before I jump back into object mode, I want to separate this page from this book so I can add modifiers to just the pages. So to do that, we'll press P, And this is our little separate window, and we want to separate the selection. So now when we tab back into edit mode, you can see we have a cube for pages and a cube for the book. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this page, and I'm going to do a few modifications. If I look at it up here, I can go scale by pressing S, and then I'll just do it along the Y-axis, scale it in a bit. And then I'm also going to go G on the keyboard and press X to move it along the X-axis. And move it in like that. And then I think that looks pretty good for kind of like inset for pages. And now I just want to add an array modifier, so we have a whole stack of pages here. So we'll close up our bevel modifier, and we'll go add, and we'll go array. And you can see it's adding, kind of duplicating itself multiple times. And right now our count is just 2, so we can increase that, but it's just going off in the X direction. So we'll change the factor of X to 0, and then we'll set the Z factor to 1. And 3 pages isn't quite enough, so we'll increase our count to 8, it looks like. And that looks pretty good. Now our edge here doesn't look quite right because the pages aren't going to the spine, so we'll press X over here on our way to move around the 3D port or the window, and we'll scale in a little bit. And we want to move some of these, tab into edit mode, and we're going to press 1 to go to vertice mode again. And to make sure that I've got both vertices, like I'm going to deselect that, I'm going to go ahead and press Z, and we're going to press 4 to go to wireframe mode, and then I'm going to box select that. So that should grab not only this vertex on this side, but the one on the other side as well. And then I'm going to go G to grab it, and then grab it along the X-axis and pull it just like that. You can see these are sticking out a little bit. So I'm going to tab into object mode, and then I'm going to go scale along the Z-axis. Just scale these pages down like so. And then if I press Z and go to solid, which would be 6, or just press enter on that, now our spine looks good and our pages look good. So that's looking pretty decent there. It's kind of bland colors, so if we go into our render mode here, and I select this object here, and we go down to our material panel, I'll go ahead and go base color, and we'll set it up to something, I don't know, like a nice blue, I guess. Something like that. And then we'll go ahead and select our pages here, and then we will create a new material and keep it white. We'll just grab the material and drag it over to our pages. That applies it there. That's kind of a gray, so let's increase that to all white. And there we go. A very simple cartoon book. Hopefully that was helpful. If you enjoy these basic Blender tutorials, subscribe and comment on what you'd like to learn next. I'll be learning more about Blender and how to use it to develop game assets. And we will be hopefully covering all kinds of cool stuff. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.